Am I problem oriented or am I solution oriented? These are the only two perspectives that you can have.
We learn about life through questions.
How do we tame this mind?
Is that person more equipped?
How does one know that now this is going beyond my control?
How much of a role does education play?
What causes this lack of concentration?
To answer some of these, Mr. Pratibimb Charitable, founder of Pratibimb Charitable Trust, brings to you Face to Face. This week, we are talking about overcoming problems.
In mathematics, every problem has a solution. Does this apply in life too? How does anyone deal with everyday challenges? So my question to you here would be, are problems self-created?
Are problems self-created? Problems is a viewpoint. The same subject can be viewed as no problems, and the same subject can be viewed as, oh my God, what a huge problem. So again, it's how you look at any particular situation. You want to look at it as a problem, there is a problem. You want to look at it as, okay, so what? It's not a problem.
So are we doing something wrong?
Right and wrong is again subjective. What is right for you may not be right for me. What is right for me may not be right for you. So these are subjective things. But yes, I take your point. The common man faces problems. The common man doesn't know how to deal with problems. I mean, there is a philosophical take on problems. But the average man is far from philosophy. The average man wants real-time solutions, real-time answers on how to deal with problems. Let's look at what does a problem do for you. So the problem frustrates you, the problem angers you, the problem disappoints you, the problem worries you. If you look at all these words, they are all about you. Anger is yours, worry is yours, frustration is yours, disappointment is yours. So if you are able to deal with these subjects, the problem doesn't exist. The problem can be external, outside you. The problem can be internal. For example, a disease is an internal problem. Should I be worried about my disease? Choice is mine. Should I be afraid of my disease? Choice is mine. So should the disease decide how I should deal with life? Choice is mine. So if I consider it a problem, it is a problem. If I consider it, so what? It happens. I should know a way to get out of it. Then I am looking for solutions. Am I problem oriented or am I solution oriented? These are the only two perspectives that you can have. If you harp on problems, you will have all these after effects. Care, worry, trouble, fear, all these things will happen in your life. If you are solution oriented, then okay, the problem is there, but I am occupied in looking for a solution. And that occupation is mental and that occupation is physical. I am trying to conceive of ways to overcome my problem, and I am trying to garner the resources which will enable me to overcome the problem. So the whole thing is about where you stand. Are you standing harping on the problems or are you standing looking for a solution?
But how do we land ourselves in such messes of problems then?
By breaking
solution
laws.
comes later.
By breaking laws, you break laws and you are liable to be punished. What is a problem? Problem is a punishment. You must have done something wrong, therefore you have a problem. You must have eaten wrong, therefore you have a stomach upset. So I do something knowingly, unknowingly, and for which I have to face the consequences. When I do it knowingly, I know what I have done and I know what to expect. When I do it unknowingly, I don't know what to expect, and when that unexpected thing happens, then I think it's a problem. But I don't go to what caused the problem, because if I go to the cause, if I go to the root cause, then I can eradicate the root cause and get rid of the problem.
Wouldn't that be too late?
Late is a time frame. So what do you mean by late? So if I have been repeatedly smoking cigarettes and now I have a lung issue, so yes, it will take that much time to clear up my lungs. But if I have been smoking cigarettes since last week, not a huge issue, either mentally to give up that cigarette which I started smoking last week, very easy to give up because I have not cultivated the habit of smoking, and the impact on my lungs is not as much, it's just 1 week old. So I can recover very quickly. So it's a time frame. You are smoking for 30 years and now your lungs are full of tar. Will your lungs become clear overnight? No chance. But will they become clear? Yes, because your body has the capability of renewal. New cells are being born. So yes, you created a problem, and yes, there is a solution, and yes, you have the willpower and the diligence to implement the solution, and you have the results.
But when we see everywhere, we see there are problems rampant. So can they be solved then?
I would suggest that every human being should look at himself. The problem with us is we look at everybody else's problems and then we think that it's a huge mountain to cross. Look at your problems. How many problems do you have? Major, minor, insignificant? Tackle those. Then you are out of those problems. Then you will worry about family members' problems. If you have the time and the resources, tackle those. Then you will have friends and relatives' problems. You have the time and resources, tackle those. But if you start thinking of the whole picture, the whole world is full of problems, then you have to be a world leader. And there are world leaders who take on the world's problems and try to find solutions to them. So again, where do you stand? Do you stand as a world leader, or you stand for yourself, or you stand for your limited family, or you stand for a community? Depends on where you stand. That is the magnitude of your problems.
So what is it that we need to practice to get a problem-free life?
Self-improvement program. Improve your health, improve your physical health, improve your mental health. When you focus on these two things, and if you train each individual to focus on these two aspects, physical health and mental health, you will automatically have the whole society free of problems. So if you are pouring clean water drop by drop into the bucket, will you have a bucket of dirty water? No, because every drop you have taken care that it is clean. But you have few clean drops and you have few dirty drops. Will you have clean bucket? No chance. So if every individual is trained to introspect and go on a self-improvement program, you will have a society of improved individuals. You don't have to do specially something for the society. If each individual is brought up as a matter of upbringing, family values, in terms of what's good for yourself physically and what's good for yourself mentally, you will automatically have a good society. That's not part of our formal education, unfortunately. There is a lot of emphasis on bookish knowledge. There is very little emphasis on physical training. There is no psychological training. Mind over matter is said in literature and poetry, but it's not imparted in education. Yeah, I'm not saying primary school because you're not mature enough to understand a mind. But once you get into higher secondary, junior college, university level, I think mind should be a continuous subject in all formal education, because your mind is transient, it transits. It transits from one stage to another. You're physically transforming as you go from childhood to adolescence, adolescence to adulthood, and so on and so forth. So when there is a physical transformation taking place in an individual's life, the mind is bound to change and the mind is bound to accept the change. We don't accept because we get confused by the physical changes in the body. I am talking about the individual. Look at the environment is also changing. My mind is supposed to adapt to the changing environment. Am I keeping pace with that? Am I capable of keeping pace with that? There is nobody to guide me.
Would it be right to say that the problems control the mind, or the mind controls problems?
Mind should control the problem, but unfortunately everything around the mind controls the mind, not only problems. Situations control the mind, temptations control the mind, desires control the mind. So all these things are controlling the mind, whereas the mind should be in the governing body position. Mind is the governing body of your life, but the governing body is being governed by external circumstances and internal conditions. So where is your mind in control? Your mind is not in control. The tail is wagging the dog is not wagging the tail.
So problems, like we can say, be self-created. Nobody else can create problems for us.
Philosophically true, you are the cause of all your problems. But again, from the common man's point of view, problems are created by situations and individuals, from the common man's point of view. But if you talk from an evolved soul's point of view, from a philosophical point of view, you invited the problem. You associated with the wrong people. You went into a wrong geographic location. So you got trapped into the problem. I arrived at a situation at the wrong time.
So
now, why did I arrive at that wrong time? The reason is I myself created that situation unknowingly in the past. If somebody could make that connection and show it to you in a visual format, then I would know the answer and then I would accept the answer. Today, all these things are considered as imagination, some spiritual fellow talking something without any basis, because there is absence of logic, which is what science expects. This is equal to this is equal to this, therefore this is equal to this. When that logic is missing, then it is not in the realm of science, then I don't accept it.
So whom do we seek help from?
You seek help from people who have acquired balance. How do you identify such people? They are healthy in body, they are healthy in mind.
Staying mindful helps to avoid getting caught up in the emotional storm of your problems. Instead of getting caught up in reactions, pause, breathe, and see what the problem is. Problems can be easily solved with a rational mind.
If you have some questions about life, please connect with us. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon for weekly updates.